Hey, what's up guys? So I'm up a little bit early today. It's Father's Day, but for good reason. I am going to finally get the car back on the ground where it belongs, and hopefully we can take it for a nice little test drive to kind of test out the new brake system, maybe get those broken in, and just make sure we don't have any issues or problems with any of the other stuff that was changed on the car. So without further ado, let's get this thing on the ground. Ow. Alright, here we are back on the ground. This is kind of a rare occurrence for this car. It spends a lot of its time up in the air on the old trusty quick jacks here. So I always forget how dang low this car sits when it's finally back on the ground. I got the battery system flipped on in the trunk, and so I was just going to check what the fuel gauge says, because it's been a while since I put fuel in this thing. A little bit below half, and it's not really accurate. It kind of likes to hang there at the half full mark, and then it'll suddenly kind of drop down to around a quarter tank. So let's pull the old gas lever here and put some fuel in this thing. Five gallons of fresh corn juice. So I'm just gonna torque the wheels real quick. I already torqued them while the car was up in the air, but just gonna double check them, I guess. I don't want any wheels falling off down the road. So okay, I think we're ready. Alright, I think we are just about ready to fire this thing up and pull it out. I've got my laptop hooked up here on the passenger seat just to gather as much data as possible on our short little test drive, and I'll be using the GoPro there. So let's fire this thing up and take it for a spin. brakes seem to work, so that's a good start. Probably should have tested that before I started backing it out of the garage. See if we can find a road where we can get the brakes dialed in real quick. The exhaust is loud. So I'd rather not break that streak. Like some fresh exhaust wrap is burning off. Ooh, smoking. We might need to pull over here. Hopefully that's just the exhaust wrap. That's what it smells like. Here real quick and make sure we don't have any major issues going on. Because there is some smoke here. Not exactly what you want to see. Quick pit stop here. There was a little bit of smoke coming out from under the hood, but luckily it looks like it's just all that brand new exhaust wrap kind of getting burned off. So far the brakes seem to be working just fine. You can see a little bit of the black coating getting stripped from the rotor there, so everything seems to be going pretty good. The exhaust is freaking loud. But it sounds mean. I love it. So let's keep going. Even though we're smoking like crazy. Looks like most of that's coming off the downpipe now. Nice old gentleman came to make sure I didn't need assistance in his, I think it's a Prius. So there was quite a bit of smoke coming out from underneath the hood there. Kind of made me a little bit nervous, but it's just all that new exhaust wrap kind of getting burnt off and getting some heat put into it, so it tends to put off a little bit of smoke in the process. So I'm going to start doing some stops from about 60 miles per hour to start getting the brake system broken in, and yeah, we'll go from there. Aggressive stop there to trying to get some heat into these rotors, and I think just a few more stops of the old brakes should hopefully get them broken in properly. Seems like it's down on boost just a little bit. So I wonder if the bigger throttle body and or charge piping is moving air a little more efficiently there. Because it seems to be about a pound or two down on boost. Air fuels actually look pretty good. I did make some kind of proactive adjustments to the fuel table and stuff the way I thought it would need fuel with the new turbo. So it's a little bit rich up top, but seems to be working pretty well. And we haven't had any parts fly off, so that's always a bonus. Stop here just to check up on things, make sure everything's still doing good. Everything's looking really good. Brakes feel great. You can see the coating is pretty much worn off where the brake pad contacts the rotor, so that means the brakes are working pretty good. Exhaust sounds beautiful. Still a little bit of smoking coming off of this wrap, which is kind of surprising because I've been driving for probably 25 minutes now. But I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to look at a couple of these logs real quick and probably make some adjustments to the fueling just to make sure it's pretty safe until I can get it dialed in on the dyno. So we'll see what the log says here. So 5th gear, I did one little 5th gear pull just to basically peak torque because I wanted to see how much boost it was actually making, and it's only making 12 pounds of boost, whereas before, obviously it's on wastegate spring, so I'm not really concerned with that, but before it would make 15 or 16 pounds on the wastegate spring in 5th gear. So somehow we lost some boost, which might just be due to the bigger intercooler piping and throttle body and stuff, which if that's the case, I'm completely fine with it. Yeah, we'll make some quick adjustments to the fueling here and then probably get her home. I think we've beat on it enough for the day. So just made some quick changes to the fuel map, pulled out a little bit of fuel on the top end. Other than that, everything looks really good. out of the rain here. I'm almost home. Please stop raining. We did it. Well, we made it back, so that's always a good thing when you can make it back under your own power and you don't have to call the wife to come tow you home with the minivan. So I would call that a pretty successful first drive. The only thing I'm not really thrilled about is I was still getting some steering wheel feedback when braking near the end of the drive there, and so I'm starting to wonder if I have maybe a ball joint or bushing somewhere on the car that is going out, or maybe multiple things happening, because yeah, the chassis has 125,000 miles on it, and so probably most of the bushings and ball joints and stuff up front are all going to be original at this point. So I might have to look into that, because I know for a fact that everything as far as the brake system is extremely clean, extremely true, because I took the extra time to basically sand down and clean up the hubs before I even slid the rotors on there. So everything as far as the brake system should be perfectly straight and not be causing any kind of feedback like that. So anyway, we'll have to investigate that further, but at this point the car is basically ready for the dyno. So hopefully the next video we'll be making some rips and seeing what kind of power we can make with the new setup. So as always, appreciate you guys watching and coming along for the ride, and hopefully we'll make some good power in the next video, and I'll see you then. Peace.